Hello guys, this is your friends Shinobi Nexus 2.0. I am back with a new mind-blowing fanfics. What if Naruto was raised in Fairy Tail Part -1? Now let's start the fanfic. You're not going to use that too. What? Of course not, exclaimed the teenage girl. Shikamaru let out a sigh of relief. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. About where you're from, do you happen to be a fighter? You mentioned something about being a wizard, though personally I'm perplexed that someone like that would actually exist, asked the fifth Hokage curiously. Lucy nodded. I happen to be part of a guild called Fairy Tail. I'm the newest recruit in fact, explained the mage. Interesting, noted the fifth Hokage. Was she really part of a parallel world? Or did she hit herself on the head? Either way, it looked like she would be useful to Konoha, if they could get her trained, that is. Would you mind if we tested your abilities? Asked Tsunade. Sure, but I don't have my keys. I can't really do much without them, noted Lucy. Then show us what you have, explained the fifth Hokage. Shrugging, Lucy agreed to let Tsunade test her combat potential. I wonder what happened to my keys, thought the mage. Oh dear, it looks Lucy and Naruto are both stranded in each other's universes, but what happened to Lucy Heartfilia's keys? It looks like something strange happened when Naruto used that interdimensional portal after Lucy did. In the next chapter, Lucy and Naruto's battle prowess is going to get tested, and they're going to go on missions. Hooray! Konohamaru's sweat dropped. Don't you remember? My name is Konohamaru. You should know that. I'm your apprentice, bellowed the ninja. About that, I think you've gotten me mixed up with someone else, inquired Lucy. Konohamaru raised an eyebrow. If you're not Naruto, then where is he? I've been looking all over for him, exclaimed Naruto's apprentice. I'm afraid he's somewhere far, far away, explained Lucy. Really? Then let me know where I can find him. I've been looking all over Konoha, bellowed Konohamaru. Sorry to hear that, answered the mage. Suddenly, Konohamaru raised an eyebrow. Wait a minute, if you're not Naruto, then why do you have his Jinchuriki mark on your stomach? Asked the apprentice. Huh? Inquired Lucy. Curious, Lucy Heartfilia looked into the river she had used to wash her dress a few minutes ago, and discovered she now had a Jinchuriki mark on her abdomen. Oh my gosh, exclaimed the mage. Was the interdimensional portal working its magic again? Curious, Lucy decided to consult Tsunade on the matter to see what was going on. Well, this is a bit of a twist, isn't it? It looks like Lucy is now the Jinchuriki for a certain ferocious fox. Of course, that means Naruto's finally free of the horrible curse, though he's probably going to have mixed feeling about it. In the next chapter, we're going to learn a bit more about the interdimensional portal that Lucy and Naruto have both used. Are you curious? Thanks, said the man, who gave Naruto some jewels. You're welcome, noted the ninja. Curious, he began to wonder if they had a village somewhere where they came up with all their evil plans. Then again, according to the creature compendium book he found next to the mission board, goblins were rather dumb. As it turned out, one of the missions requested that he destroy one of their villages. Sounds rather simple, questioned Naruto. Immediately, the ninja began to look for one of them. How hard could finding one possible be? I have to admit, it's nice having a new career, though I'm already starting to miss my old one, noted Naruto. Hopefully, he would be able to get back home soon before he got too homesick. Well, off to work I go, said the ninja. Surprise, surprise. Lucius managed to defeat Shikamaru at his own game. Then again, Urza managed to do the same with Naruto, so. In the next chapter, well, we're going to see some more humor, but at the same time we're also going to see something scary. Intrigued? To make a long story short, the evil ninja fainted, as he could not tolerate having so many animals attack him at once. That's a relief, noted Shikamaru as he dispelled his shadow imitation technique. Sheesh, I feel kind of woozy, spoke Lucy. That's because you need to use your blood to summon animals, explained the Jonin. Oh, heh heh, said the mage. Apparently, she was going to need to use that in moderation so she didn't pass out. Suddenly, due to her lightheadedness, Lucy Heartfilia lost her balance and fell. And ended up kissing Shikamaru Naru on the lips, much to their astonishment. Immediately, realizing what had happened, Lucy distanced herself from the shadow ninja. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, I swear. Apologized Lucy. What had she done? Fortunately, Shikamaru was rather forgiving of her, especially considering that she was a newcomer. It's okay. To be honest, I was starting to get worried that my first kiss was going to be Choji. He's been my best friend since the history of ever, and as you just saw, accidents can happen, explained the shadow ninja. Lucy's sweat dropped. Oddly enough, that was my first kiss too, explained the summoner mage, who began rubbing her hand behind her head. Shikamaru's sweat dropped. Curious, Lucy noticed that it was getting rather late, and began to wonder where she was going to sleep. I'm tired, noted the mage. Maybe you could use Naruto's apartment. Since he's trapped in an alternate world, he's probably not going to use it for a while, spoke Shikamaru. Yeah, maybe, said Lucy. Immediately, Shikamaru picked up Takeshi so that he could put him in a straitjacket and deliver him to Lady Tsunade, again. Curious, Lucy headed to Naruto's apartment to see if the landlord would let her inside. Thankfully, the landlord was sympathetic of her plight, and allowed her to stay. Thank goodness, noted the summoner mage. She had to admit, she was starting to wonder how this all started. I can't believe it, I actually got my first kiss in this strange world. Talk about awkward, questioned Lucy. She was actually beginning to like in this mysterious world, though she was beginning to wonder how her teammates are doing. They're doing just fine, right? They're not having a panic attack, are they? Inquired the mage. Then again, she wouldn't be too surprised if they did. Well, off to bed I go, said Lucy. Meanwhile, a few miles away from Konoha, a young boy by the name of Yoshi Zetsubo was enjoying relaxing outside a forest. His parents had told him not to wander out too far, but he wasn't one to listen to directions. Besides, it felt so refreshing outside. And he was a ninja in training, so surely he would have to venture outdoors for extended periods of time sooner or later, right? Suddenly, he began to hear footsteps. Is there someone there? Asked the boy. Was somebody coming to pick him up? He did admit that maybe he had been a bit too mischievous for his own good, and that his parents were likely starting to miss him. At that very moment, a grim-looking ninja approached him, and he began to wonder who he was. Curious, Yoshi looked at him, and noticed that he was dressed in Jonin garb. Apparently, he was some sort of ninja. However, his outfit was completely red instead of green and blue, and he was not wearing a headband, which he found to be peculiar. Apparently, he wasn't a Konoha ninja, which caused Yoshi to wonder what he was doing right outside it. Also, he noticed that he had strange purple eyes, and had red hair. Did he have some kind of dojutsu? If so, he wondered what type of dojutsu it was. Was it the Byakugan, the Sharingan? He wasn't quite sure. Immediately, Yoshi got the urge to run away from the mysterious man as something told him that he was a missing nin, but since he was curious, he couldn't help but resist asking who the man was. Who are you? Asked the young boy. The mysterious ninja decided to introduce himself, as a wide smile formed on his face. Who am I? Why, my name is Kenichi, the very ninja who's going to purify the world of the weak. Exclaimed the ninja. What? Asked Yoshi. He immediately became worried. That certainly didn't sound like anything good. What exactly did he mean by purifying the world of the weak? Suddenly, Kenichi pulled out a kunai, much to the boy's horror. And you, my friend, are going to be helping me with this task. Bellowed the ninja. Yoshi immediately screamed in horror upon realizing what he planned to do. No, please, put down the kunai, screamed the boy. Yoshi saw Kenichi raise the kunai above his head, and then he saw nothing. Well, This ending for the chapter was a bit of a twist, wasn't it? I'm afraid this story isn't going to be all comedy, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. In the next chapter, Naruto's going to go on a mission with his new friends, likewise, Lucy's going to do the same, heh. All of a sudden, the summoner mage began to feel nervous. Thankfully, Shikamaru comforted her by placing his hand on her bare shoulder. Thanks. I needed that, said the mage. If you're going to want to plunder the tomb, then be careful out there. The only person I know that's ever managed to pull off looting that pyramid was Montana Indy, explained the local. Montana Indy? Asked Shikamaru. Yeah, he's a treasure hunter that insists that artifacts belong in a museum. Then again, now that I think of it, I don't think he was a ninja, so maybe you and your friends can pull it off. What do I know? Inquired the villager. I happen to be a mage actually, or at least I used to be, explained Lucy. What? Don't be ridiculous. Those only exist in fairy tales, bellowed the local. Lucy's sweat dropped. What is your name, anyway? Asked Shikamaru. My name, it's Ahmed, exclaimed Ahmed. Good to know, noted the mage. Hopefully his last name wasn't a duty. Immediately, Lucy and Shikamaru went to alert Ino and Choji where the pyramid was, and what they should expect. Right then. Let's get going, shall we? Inquired Ino. Yeah, I'm getting hungry, said Choji. Aren't you always? Asked the kunoichi. Yeah, nodded the Chunin. What could he say? He needed his weight for his jutsu. He likely wouldn't be able to use it so effectively otherwise. Together, Team 10 and Lucy set out to the pyramid so that they could collect an artifact and donate it to a museum, or in this case Konoha. Tsunade was counting on them to fatten her purse. Well, it looks like Naruto and his new friends have gone off on another mission, and so has Lucy and her new friends. In the next chapter, well, Naruto and Lucy are going to complete their missions and go home, or the residence they have at the moment, rather. Also, Hinata and 2 Anbu members are going to investigate the disappearance of the missing child, which unfortunately as you all know is already dead. Peace. Yeah, I heard that she once lifted a tree and tossed it for miles, said Natsu. I better stay on her good side then, noted the genin. Can you bite down on it? Asked Gray. Sure enough, Naruto could. After pulling the genin out of the quicksand, Gray and Natsu directed the duo back towards the village. Much to Gray's surprise, Naruto was actually eating the chain. Why are you eating the ice chain? Inquired the ice mage. It tastes like ice cream, answered the genin. Okay, I've never tried eating it before, so what do I know? Shrugged the devil slayer. Sure enough, the village chief was very happy to see them. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate your kindness, and I shall give you the totem that your guildmaster requested, said the chief. Curious, the leader of the village noticed that Urza and Naruto were both covered with mud, causing him to raise an eyebrow. Did something happen on your way to the village? Asked the chief. We ended up in quicksand, and strangely enough we actually enjoyed it, explained Urza. Simba began to rub his hand behind the back of his head. Well, you can wash off at that lake over there, explained the chief. Your name is? Asked Naruto. It's Akachi, said Akachi. Sure enough, Naruto and Urza went into the lake to wash themselves off. Oddly enough, Urza actually took her pants off in front of him, leaving her in her fundoshi. You know, it's funny. I think I understand why you're immune to my jutsu now, explained Naruto. You do? Asked Urza. She wondered why everyone else was affected by it when she was not. You don't really seem to know what modesty is, noted the genin. Yeah, I don't. I guess I was just born that way, nodded the knight in shining armor. Ah well, just try not to make me go blind, okay? I may be a bit too lecherous for my own good, but I have standards, said Naruto as he took off his muddy pants, leaving him in his boxers. Fair enough, agreed Urza. Thankfully, the villagers agreed to wash off their clothes for them, which was rather simple since they weren't wearing too much to begin with. Naruto immediately entered the lake along with Urza. Oddly enough, one of my teammates once told me that if I ever so much as glanced at her while she was in her underpants, she'd rip off my head and use it as a basketball, and then use my intestines as jump rope, noted the genin. That's harsh. Agreed Urza. You're not going to do that to me, are you? Gray mentioned that you have superhuman strength, said the ninja. Don't worry, I'm not, answered the S-class mage. Thank goodness. Speaking of which, I wonder how she's doing without me, questioned Naruto. Meanwhile, he went into an interdimensional portal. Darn it, Naruto, how could you be so stupid? Exclaimed Sakura. Go easy on him, Sakura. He didn't even know what an interdimensional portal was until he got sucked through it. Bellowed Hinata. Fine, I'll try to relax, said the pink-haired Kunoichi. I'm worried about him as you are, but if we're going to bring him back, we're going to need to stay focused. Speaking of which, I'm going on a mission, explained Hinata. You are? Inquired Sakura. Yeah, according to the mission board, a local child has gone missing. I need to find him and bring him back to Konoha, said the Hyuga clan member. Really? Asked the medical ninja. Yeah, however, Lady Tsunade just won some money at a poker game last night, so she's bringing 2 Anbu members with me, explained Hinata. Suddenly, Sakura noticed that there happened to be 2 Anbu members with her. Hello, gentlemen, inquired the Kunoichi. One of the Anbu members waved at her. This is Isamu and this is Jiro, explained Hinata. Oddly enough, the duo were rather identical. However, Isamu was wearing shades while Jiro was not. Pleased to meet you, gentlemen, said Sakura. Don't worry, we will find this missing child and bring him back shortly, said Isamu. You can count on us, exclaimed Jiro. Okay, good luck, I guess, said Sakura. Immediately, the 2 Anbu members left along with Hinata. Curious, Sakura recalled that her mistress only won money at gambling whenever something bad was about to happen, and began to wonder if something rotten was currently occurring in Konoha. It's probably nothing, thought the Kunoichi. Time for another cliffhanger, folks. Our heroes have completed their missions and will be heading back home. In the next chapter, we're going to hear from Kenichi again, and yes, he's going to do something horrible. We're also going to hear from Chiyoye again. Why exactly did she join Fairy Tail? Have a good one. Immediately, Hinata lifted up her right sleeve. This is just as I thought, explained Makarov. Huh? Asked Hinata. Curious, the Kunoichi decided to look at her shoulder in the nearby mirror. As it turned out, she now had the guild mark on her shoulder. You weren't kidding, spoke the Byakugan wielder. You also appear to have inherited his fire dragon slayer magic. You should be able to manipulate fire, as well as consume it, said Makarov. Well, that's going to take some getting used to, noted Hinata. At least the fire happened to taste delightful. She was personally tempted to go look for more fire to consume. Curious, the Kunoichi mentioned something about Naruto giving his 9-tailed fox to Lucy, and began to wonder if she had given up her Byakugan to Natsu. Fortunately, for Hinata, as it turned out, she was still able to use it. Thank goodness, said the Kunoichi. However, she remembered that it was entirely possible for more than one ninja to have the Byakugan, and began to wonder if Natsu still had this dojutsu anyway. Questioned Hinata. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay at Fairy Tail, however long that lasts, explained Makarov. Shrugging, the Kunoichi decided to go visit Naruto and tell him the news. Kenichi has struck again, and this time, he's killed 2 Anbu members. Also, he happens to have a dragon on his side, as well as the Rinnegan, not good. Also, Hinata happens to have inherited Natsu's fire magic and Natsu happens to have inherited her Byakugan. Once again the interdimensional magic has done its job. In the next chapter, Hinata's going to accept a mission for Fairy Tail, and unfortunately Natsu and Lucy are going to discover the bodies of the unfortunate child and Anbu members. See you next time. Natsu nodded. What am I going to do? Asked the Hyuga clan member in disbelief. I'm sorry, apologized Natsu. Immediately, Neji went to alert his uncle of the situation. At that very moment, Kiba and Shino came by. They looked rather depressed. Immediately, Lucy and Natsu introduced themselves to them. My name is Lucy. What's the matter? Asked Lucy. We were planning on going on a mission to search for what we believe may be buried treasure, but unfortunately we can't do it without Hinata, explained Kiba. They say that she's completely disappeared off the face of Konoha, continued Shino. Immediately, Akamaru began to howl. He seemed rather depressed that Hinata was gone. Curious, he noticed Lucy and Natsu, and began to bark at them. Apparently, he did not recognize them. Can I help you? Asked Natsu. That depends. Do you have good tracking skills? Inquired Kiba. Well, I have the Byakugan, explained the fire mage. Much to Kiba and Shino's surprise, as it turned out, Natsu could use that particular dojutsu. Where did you get that? Inquired Kiba. Somehow, he got the feeling that he wasn't a member of the Hyuga clan, as he did not have black hair. In fact, he was the only person he knew that happened to have pink hair. Through the wonders of magic, why? Asked Natsu. Shino raised an eyebrow. Did he really obtain the Byakugan through magic? He thought that magic only existed in fairy tales. Do you think he can help us? Asked the bug user, still curious to how Natsu had managed to obtain the Byakugan. I think he likely could give us a hand. Why are you asking? Asked the dog user. Rough, barked Akamaru. All right. We have no idea how you managed to get that Byakugan when you aren't a Hyuga clan member, but you can come along, said Shino. Can I come too? Natsu's new to doing missions for Konoha, though admittedly they're similar to those back home, asked Lucy. Okay, you can come along too, but do you have any skills when it comes to reconnaissance? Inquired Kiba. Arf, exclaimed Akamaru. Well, I can summon animals, explained the kunoichi. That will do then, nodded Kiba. Where are we going? Asked Natsu. To a cavern across the sea, explained Shino. Wait, won't we have to use a boat? Inquired Natsu. Yes, we will, nodded Kiba. I better get my barf bag then, noted the fire mage. Asked Shino. He suffers from motion sickness, explained Lucy. All right then, nodded the bug user. Meanwhile, once again, Urza and Gray were going on a mission. I have to admit, it's going to be rather depressing not going on a mission with Natsu for a while, noted the ice mage. Don't you always fight with him whenever you go on a mission together? Asked Urza. As it turned out, Urza was wearing her Ice Empress suit of armor for this mission, which oddly enough somewhat resembled her Lightning Empress armor. The sword in question happened to resemble ice as well. Yes, but we're still friends, aren't we? We've known each other for ages, exclaimed Gray. True, nodded Urza. At that very moment, Naruto and Hinata came in. Hey there, you two. How are you doing? Are you here to accept a mission too? Inquired Urza. Who is this? Inquired Hinata. This is the prettiest girl in the I mean Urza, exclaimed Naruto. Curious, Hinata noticed that Naruto's cheeks turned red when he mentioned her name. Immediately, Hinata told Urza her name and shook her hand. I decided to nickname her Phoenix, explained Gray. Pleased to meet you, Phoenix, said Urza. So, what mission are you two doing? Inquired Hinata. We're heading to a village by the name of Icevale so that we can help them with their problems. Seems they're suffering from some sort of monster, whoever that may be, explained the ice mage. Yikes, noted the Hyuga clan member. Of course, now that I think of it, I think you would be perfect for that sort of mission, explained Gray. Really? How come? Asked the kunoichi. You have Natsu's fire magic, don't you? That means you'll plow through whatever ice monsters you come across, and I don't think you'd even need a coat, to be honest. Then again, I know I won't, said Gray. Oh yeah, nodded Hinata. She had to admit, while she was a bit frightened of the fire magic at first, she quickly began to realize just how useful it was. Of course, it still was going to be a long story to tell to her father and cousin, but she felt that she could live through that. She did survive using an interdimensional portal, didn't she? Can I come with? I've just been reunited with her, and, well, explained Naruto. Yes, you can, nodded Urza. Yes, exclaimed the genin. Immediately, the foursome set out to the village to help them with their problems, after Naruto put on a coat that Mirajan had generously provided him, of course. Of course, this particular coat had the picture of a kitten on it and was overall rather feminine, and pink, no less, but he decided not to look a gift horse in the mouth. There, now I won't freeze to death, thank you, Mirajan, thought the ninja. As it turned out, it was north of Fairy Tail. It's good to see that these missions have been rather close to the guild so far. I have to admit though, first a jungle, now a tundra. Inquired Naruto. I know, Fiore's environment seems to be going a bit crazy as of late, explained Urza. Sorry to hear that, answered the ninja. Immediately, the 4 fairy tale mages entered the tundra. It was time for another mission. Well, here's the latest chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next chapter, Lucy, Natsu, Shino, and Kiba are going to search for treasure, unaware that someone else wants the treasure as well. Oh, and Hinata, Naruto, Gray, and Urza are going to head to Icevale so that they can deal with what's ailing the villagers. Arg! Exclaimed Captain Bloodbeard. Shino continued reloading the cannons while the fire mage reluctantly continued to light them, and eventually, the pirate ship sank into the depths of the ocean. Yes, bellowed Lucy. Unfortunately, it appeared that they weren't out of trouble yet. As it turns out, the pirates had brought lifeboats with them in case of an emergency. Ye landlubbers sunk me battleship. For that, gonna die. Bellowed Captain Bloodbeard. He sure is persistent. Noted Lucy. Maybe we should look for a way to pop them. They look like they've been inflated. Asked Shino. Shrugging, the summoner Kunoichi pressed her hand on the ground to see if she could summon sea creatures as well as land ones. Fortunately, this was the case. Immediately, sharks began to attack the lifeboats, causing them to burst. Yar! Bellowed Captain Bloodbeard. To make matters worse for the pirate captain, 3 of his crew members could not swim. Help us! Screamed one of the pirates. We're drowning! Exclaimed another pirate. Save me! Screamed yet another pirate. For a moment, Captain Bloodbeard considered helping them, only to find that they had already drowned. Letting out a sigh, he commanded his crew to grapple the ship so that they could climb aboard. Incoming! Bellowed Shino. Oh no! Murmured Lucy. They've got swords. We're going to get cut to ribbons. Screamed Natsu. Lucy sighed. Fortunately, Kiba and Akamaru were able to detect the pirates due to their powerful sense of smell, who strangely enough happened to smell like seaweed, and they were able to join their friends in a battle royale. At that very moment, Lucy let go of the steering wheel so that they could help her friends fight. Well, I guess it's time to show them who the real landlubbers are, noted Lucy. Naruto and his friends have been sent on a mission to save Icevale from a Santa Claus-esque monster, and of course, Lucy and her friends are being attacked by pirates. In the next chapter, well, we're going to continue where we left off. Sound like a plan. I sure hope that they're doing okay, noted Lucy. Meanwhile, Lady Tsunade was standing inside the Hyuga clan household, where Hiashi Hyuga and his nephew were sitting. She was trying to explain to Hiashi Hyuga what had happened to his beloved daughter. What? Are you saying she's stranded in some sort of alternate world? Exclaimed Hiashi. I'm afraid so. Nodded Tsunade. This is terrible, answered the Hyuga clan leader. I sure hope that she comes back soon, agreed Neji. He was personally hoping that Hinata's latest mission was going to be a success, which it technically was. The interdimensional portal may have saved her life, however, as you may be well aware of, the 2 Anbu members that accompanied her were found dead, as well as the missing child, explained Tsunade. It did? Inquired Hiashi. Yes. I believe she used it a few moments before the Anbu members were attacked. She apparently wanted to look for Naruto, explained Tsunade. They were like brother and sister, weren't they? Asked the leader of the Hyuga clan. Also, due to the magic of the interdimensional portal, somebody who isn't part of your clan has inherited the Byakugan, continued the Kunoichi. They have? Inquired Hiyashi Hyuga. Yes, in Hinata's stead we have a young man by the name of Natsu Dragneel. We believe that he has inherited his Byakugan from her, explained Tsunade. Has he now? Asked Neji curiously. Yes, as such, we sent him on a mission along with Hinata's teammates, continued the fifth Hokage. Did you? Asked the head of the Hyuga clan. Since he was new to being a ninja, we brought his friend from this mysterious world, a young lady by the name of Lucy Heartfilia, who oddly enough has several similarities to your daughter, explained Tsunade. Really? Asked Neji. Tsunade immediately handed Neji a paper detailing Lucy Heartfilia's life story, which she had handed her a day earlier to tell her more about herself. I'm scared, noted the Hyuga clan member. Let me see that, Neji, answered Hiyashi. Neji nodded as he handed his uncle the paper. Are you sure that she and my daughter weren't separated at birth? Inquired the head of the Hyuga clan curiously. Well, we don't know everything about the interdimensional portals yet. This is still rather new to us, noted Tsunade. I see, nodded Hiyashi. I just wanted to let you know this in case you ever decided to search for her, explained the fifth Hokage. I just hope that she returns soon, answered the head of the Hyuga clan. If we can find out how to make an interdimensional portal, she probably will, nodded Tsunade. Good luck then, nodded Hiyashi. Immediately, the fifth Hokage left the Hyuga household. How did it go? Asked Shizune. I don't think he will be declaring war on us to try to get her back, so I think it went well, answered Tsunade. Shizune let out a sigh of relief. Say, what's Shikamaru doing? Inquired Tsunade's apprentice. As it turns out, he was trying to create an interdimensional portal of his own. Unfortunately, it appeared that he couldn't create one big enough for Lucy and Natsu to fit through. Can I help you? Asked Tsunade. I'm trying to see if I can use my chakra to travel across dimensions, answered Shikamaru. How is that going for you? Inquired the fifth Hokage. I've only been able to create small ones unfortunately. So far I've only managed to send a few small objects across, explained the ninja. Meanwhile, ow, exclaimed Makarov. Something had hit him on the head. Where did that come from? Asked the guildmaster curiously. For some strange reason, he kept finding litter in his office. Since when was his office so filthy? He could have sworn that he had cleaned it up yesterday. Was someone breaking in and messing up the place? I might need to have a talk with my guild, questioned Makarov. Back to the world of ninja. Let us know if you make any progress, said Tsunade. Shikamaru nodded. I sure hope that we can get Naruto and Hinata back, spoke Shizune. So do I, nodded the fifth Hokage. It feels like forever since we've seen the two of them, noted Tsunade's apprentice. Yes, Sakura in particular is very upset about all this. She feels that this is somehow all her fault. She said that she punched him in the face a few days before he disappeared, answered the Sanin. How would it be her fault? Inquired the apprentice. Tsunade shrugged. It was rather surprising what people would blame on themselves. Why exactly did she punch Naruto, anyway? Asked Shizune. She caught him staring at a picture of a pretty girl in a bikini, explained Tsunade. Yikes, murmured the Kunoichi. Then again, I did break both of Jiraiya's legs for spying on me while I was in the shower, noted the Sanin. Sheesh, I don't want to make you angry, acknowledged Shizune. Believe me, you wouldn't like me when I was angry, nodded Tsunade. Do you want me to do you a favor? Just ask me and I'll do it, exclaimed the apprentice. No thank you, I just want to get some sleep, explained the Sanin. Right, of course, I'll prepare your bed for you, exclaimed Shizune. Really, I'm fine, answered Tsunade. See you later. Bellowed the kunoichi. Tsunade waved farewell to Shizune as she went to bed. I just hope that wherever Naruto and Hinata are, they're doing alright, noted the Sanin. Well, it looks like our heroes are still working on their missions. Will they be able to succeed once again? Then again, they always seem to succeed in what they do, they're so good at being heroic. But what exactly is Chiyoye planning? See you later. Something tells me that Naruto and Phoenix defeated the evil Santa, so yes, nodded Urza. I just can't help but shake the feeling that we're not finished here, questioned Gray. Then again, maybe not, answered the knight in shining armor. A few minutes later, what happened? Inquired Santa as he began rubbing his head. I think some sort of evil magician casted a spell on you to make you turn evil, and you ended up spreading it to everyone else that you knew personally, explained Hinata. I wonder who tried to ruin Christmas? Inquired Naruto. As it turned out, Santa could not remember what had happened recently. However, he did recall seeing a man wearing a top hat and a cane right before he started going insane. Wait a minute, questioned Hinata. Is this someone we know? Inquired Naruto. Let's just say that we're going to need to pay Ebimenor Scourge a visit, explained the kunoichi. Sure enough, Urza and Gray arrived on the scene. Santa, is that you? You still owe me that toy train since when I was 5, said Gray. Funny. I always thought that Santa only existed in fairy tale. Wait, that's right. I'm in a fairy tale world now, noted Naruto. What exactly is going on? Inquired Urza. We need to talk to Ebimenor Scourge. I think he's the one behind this. I suggest that you get ready to fight again, explained Hinata. Sure, nodded the knight in shining armor. Fortunately, the mayor's house wasn't too far from them. Curious, they decided to look out the window to see if they could find anything. As it turned out, Ebimenor Scourge was checking Christmas off a checklist full of holidays. Well, I've officially ruined Christmas for everyone. That'll teach Santa not to give me clothes for Christmas, but what holiday do I go after next? Halloween always scared me as a child, but maybe I should go after Valentine's Day. My girlfriend dumped me on that particular holiday. Or maybe I should go after St. Patrick's Day. That holiday always made me drunk, noted Ebimenor Scourge. He's definitely behind everything, explained Hinata. Alright then, nodded Urza. Immediately, the S-class mage punched down the door to Ebimenor Scourge's house, much to his surprise. His head sweating, he began to greet them rather nervously. Hello there, fairy tale mages. What brings you here? Did you slay Santa Claus for me? Exclaimed the evil mayor. You're in a lot of trouble, said Gray. What? How come? I assure that I never did anything wrong, except maybe embezzle from my citizens once or twice. It was only $1 or $2, I swear, answered Ebimenor. That doesn't explain how expensive his manor looks, thought Hinata to herself. As bad as embezzling from your people is, that's not what we want to talk to you about, explained Urza. You tried to ruin Christmas, bellowed Naruto. What are you talking abo? Wait, you caught me plotting my next holiday attack, didn't you? Inquired the mayor. Yes, we did, nodded Gray. You're in a lot of trouble, Ebimenor Scourge, answered Urza. Oh dear, it looks like I've been busted. Well then, I guess the only thing left now is to. Ebimenor Scourge transformed his cane into a sword. Kill you all and mount your heads over my fireplace, bellowed the mayor. Naruto and Gray gasped in shock while Hinata grasped her neck. Urza simply frowned. Well, this cannot be good, noted Urza. Immediately, Ebimenor Scourge lunged towards the foursome with his sword, hoping to cut them to ribbons. Thankfully, Urza intercepted the sword, and got into a sword fight with the corrupt mayor. It looks like we're in for a challenge, noted Naruto. Don't worry, Naruto. There's 4 of us and only 1 of him. I'm sure that we're going to be fine, exclaimed Gray. At that very moment, Ebimenor Scourge snapped his fingers, and Team Natsu began to hear loud footsteps outside. What was that? inquired Hinata. At that very moment, two enormous snow golems burst through the walls and began to roar at the foursome. By the looks of it, Ebimenor's scourge had summoned them to grind them into paste. You were saying? Asked Naruto. I have a big mouth, noted Gray. Meanwhile, Kenichi soared across the sky with his dragon, looking for more weak shinobi to eradicate from the world. He had to admit, he always felt satisfied whenever he personally slew a ninja that was vastly inferior to himself, though personally he felt that he should pick up the pace, as he had felt that he had been rather inactive over the past few weeks. Then again, he had not visited the land of fire in quite some time, as he did not usually feel that it was thriving with the frail. However, there did not appear to be any sign of any potential victims at the moment, as he had ventured into the wilderness miles away from Konoha. Curious, Kenichi used his Rinnegan to look for signs of chakra, as he usually did whenever he wanted to search for more victims. However, to his mild disappointment, he did not find any in his proximity. He was going to need to search elsewhere. Well, that's a bit of a shame, but at least I appear to be doing my job well. There's not a weak ninja in sight, noted the ninja. Kaishi immediately roared in satisfaction. As it turned out, Kenichi had bended him to his will not too long ago using his dark chakra, so he shared much of the personality that his master did. Keep on searching. I'm sure that we'll find someone eventually. And when we do find someone, you'll know exactly what to do, said the Darwinist ninja. Kaishi nodded. Very good, answered Kenichi. Immediately, the ninja and his dragon continued soaring through the skies. What's this? It turns out Ebimenor's scourge was the real threat to Icevale this whole time. Who would have thought that he was so petty? It looks like it's up to our heroes to try to stop him. Oh, and Lucy and Team 8 will finally get the treasure they wanted, or at least Lady Tsunade did. Yes, it does. Maybe you should get some of your friends to help you, asked Lucy. Huh, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? I should probably get Ino and Choji to help me. They say that our clans can do anything when they work together, explained Shikamaru. Like make an interdimensional portal? Inquired the mage. Yes, of course, nodded the shadow ninja. Right, well, good luck helping me get back home, exclaimed Lucy. Have fun. I'm going to talk to Ino and Choji, right after I take a nap, said Shikamaru. Immediately, he decided to take a snooze right there on the spot. Ah, Lucy, there you are. Would you mind doing me a favor? I could use your assistance. You want to play shogi? All right then, murmured the shadow ninja. Lucy began to giggle. As it turned out, Shikamaru was dreaming about her. Then again, they had been talking only a few minutes ago, so it wasn't much of a surprise. Have fun in dreamland, spoke the kunoichi as she went to Naruto's apartment. Immediately, she went to bed, happy to how the mission had gone. Suddenly, somebody knocked on the door. Inquired Lucy. Curious, it was none other than the mailman, who wanted to deliver her a package. What's this? Asked the kunoichi. As it turned out, it was none other than a ninja headband. Lucy smiled. Apparently, she was now officially recognized as a ninja. Apparently, it had been delivered by none other than Tsunade. There was a letter attached to it as well. Dear Lucy Heartfilia, due to your work for the good of Konoha, we have decided to give you a ninja headband of your very own. You may keep it even if you wish to return to your old guild and retire from being a Konoha ninja, said the letter. How sweet, thought Lucy. Curious, the summoner mage put it on and looked at herself in the mirror. It looks surprisingly good on me, noted the ninja. Also, Tsunade had given her an outfit so that she could dress like a ninja. Putting the ninja outfit on, she once again looked into a mirror. Again, I look good, thought the summoner mage. Immediately, she went to bed so that she could get ready for her next mission. Shortly afterwards, she began to dream about heading back home. Finally, now I can see my friends again. Then again, I did make friends back on the other side. I hope I can get to see them again too, noted Lucy. Meanwhile, so, this is Natsu's house? Inquired Hinata. Yes, it is. It's mine too, exclaimed Happy. It's nice that he gave you a place to stay, noted the kunoichi. He sure did. We're the best friends in the history of ever, bellowed the Exceed. You sure are easily excited, spoke Hinata. That's why they call me Happy, answered Happy. Why is there a tree growing through the wall? Inquired the kunoichi. A tree? I never noticed it, exclaimed the magical cat. But it's huge, answered Hinata. Ignorance is bliss, bellowed Happy. Okay, answered the kunoichi. Unfortunately, the house was rather messy, to say the very least. Hinata began to wonder why Natsu would want to live in a place like this. Shrugging, she decided to look for the bedroom. As she discovered, Natsu slept on a hammock. Well, this is going to take some time getting used to, noted Hinata. Shrugging, she decided to try something new for a change. Well, at least this hammock is rather comfortable, spoke the kunoichi. As it turned out, Happy slept in a cat basket not far from where the hammock was. Sure enough, he was sleeping, and was dreaming about fish. Shrugging, Hinata decided to see if Natsu had any pajamas that she could wear when she went to bed. Of course, considering that Natsu was male, she probably was looking in the wrong place. But eventually, she did manage to find something that she wanted to wear, a pair of pink pajamas with an Exceed's face on them. This pink pajamas sound nice, though I wonder why Natsu would want to wear those. I don't think pink is really his color, noted Hinata. Shrugging, she went to the closet and put on the pajamas. Off to bed I go, said Hinata. As she did so, she noticed that Natsu had a picture of himself along with Happy on his drawer. Apparently, Happy wasn't kidding when he said that they were best friends. Of course, Hinata couldn't help but stare at Natsu's muscular body. I sure hope that I can meet him one day, thought the kunoichi. Immediately, she decided it was time to go to bed. Z's, murmured Hinata in her sleep. Meanwhile, after she realized that she was going to get caught if she tried adventuring into the classified book section of the fairy tale spellbook library, Chiyoye decided that she was going to have to be a bit creative. Immediately, she began to forge a mission request on the mission hall. It was going to be the biggest mission fairy tale was going to have in years, if the mission actually existed. Careful so that it didn't stand out among any of the other mission requests other than how big it was, Chiyoye carefully attached the request to the mission board using a nail and a hammer. There, now I can create a distraction so that I can find what I'm looking for, said the new recruit for fairy tale. As she did so, she began to chuckle to herself. Soon I shall be able to find that spellbook I've always wanted, and then I'll be all set, she thought. She had to admit, she was a bit surprised how many books the Magic Council had entrusted Fairy Tail with. Apparently, they felt that they all deserved to have them in their spellbook library. Then again, she hadn't been particularly interested in joining a small guild. The more powerful the guild was, the better, she had thought. Of course, there was the possibility that somebody might find out what she was planning to do even when the entire guild was occupied with her fake request, which as it turned out was going to take them far away from the guild base. No matter, if somebody catches me sneaking into the forbidden section of the library, I can just make them disappear, just like I did with those fresh fairy tale recruits, heh, she thought. Oh, it looks like Chiyoye is responsible for the missing mages, but what exactly did she do to them? And just what is that mission request? You'll get to find out in the next chapter. Mind you, it's going to be a rather scary one. Then again, it is almost Halloween, so maybe you should be expecting that.